Hello everyone, this is Turin here, and today guys I'm here with another Total War Warhammer live battlecast. In this game we're going to be using the Warriors of Chaos, and we are indeed facing off against the Empire. So as far as our army composition goes, we do have the mighty Prince Sigvald the Magnificent. So he's very good against the Empire, resilient against hero sniping, has self-healing, charged defense, all that kind of good stuff. And he's a decent duelist. He can actually usually stand and bang with like Boris and Karl and all those guys. We do have two Death Sorcerers, so against like Demogryph Knights and enemy Flying Lords that Chaos really has like a hard time at catching and dealing with. The Spirit Leech and Fate of Una are very good choices. For the rest of our army, we have Chaos Warriors in the front line with the Silver Shields to kind of anchor everything, and the Forsaken in the flanks are obviously probably the most important unit against the Empire. You know, they can circumvent, outrun all of the Empire infantry, they can get into the back line, deal with the silver bullets, and if they do have, like, most Empire players, or players in general, will usually leave spears and halberds in the back line to defend things, so if you can get Forsaken up and around the back, the typical defensive units that you're going to find in the back line get cut to pieces by Forsaken. We do have some Chaos Knights. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did have the ones with the swords and shields who have better sustained combat stats. This actually isn't a bad map for me. There is a little bit of a lip here, so if he has like a bunch of cannons, it's like that much less distance. I have to take cannon fire. But I haven't seen a lot of Empire players bringing cannons against the Warriors of Chaos. I don't think I see it terribly often, though. Sometimes you do see like the Hammer of the Witches or some other shenanigans, but for the most part, it's not a terribly popular pick. But you never know. There might be like a wild Templehof Luminart going on. That would definitely be fun, but that's probably one of my favorite units to use. I've been like spamming so many games trying to just get those like epic one-shots for you guys, but I mean, Hellman Gorst is the prime candidate for that. Like, I think it was a replay like maybe 4 or 5 months ago when I was playing against Hellman and the Templehof just like one-shotted him. I mean, I've had that happen to me where I brought like Hellman Gorst as a joke and I was all excited. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be summoning Graveguard and all this good stuff, and then he just gets like one-shotted all violently because I think number one, he has regeneration, right? So isn't he weak to fire? You guys will have to let me know in the comment section below because I can't remember off the top of my head. So I think like the fire damage on top of like the already absurd damage, like just pretty much gets him one-shotted. So when he's on that stupid corpse card, he has like 23 move speed. I honestly feel like that's the biggest limiting factor for Hellman Gorst. Like all of his other like haggard attributes aside, the fact that he's so damn slow is what makes him so terrible, because like he's so easy to just pick off. Like missile units, he can't like outmaneuver anything. Like the other Vampire Lords, like even if you put them on foot, I feel like they're just more maneuverable. They have like 35 or 40 speed if you're Vlad, and it's just like, it's so bad. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get the army composition set up here. So let's pull back right now, and it looks like there's a little bit of potato action going on. So hopefully, for your guys' sake, there's not too much lag, because I do cast a lot of these games. I do like a ton of live battlecasts, and oftentimes there's quite a bit of lag, so I can't really cast the game, which is so discouraging because they're good battles. But again, I usually go back and cast them after the fact. But I think it's fun to watch live games. Personally, I like to see how people micro and their decision making, like the moment of the moment it's happening, rather than like an after the fact thing. So you get that raw experience. So Forsaken here, we're gonna put one group in the middle just to support the front line, and these guys right here. And honestly, as far as like armor piercing in the front line goes, I found that the Marauders with the great weapons like usually do okay against great swords, and I can use like a Fate of Una to like kind of accentuate against them. So good. So we do have our goon squad over here. We're also going to put one Death Sorcerer with these guys. So again, I can have that Spirit Leech on command. We're going to get the mighty Prince Sigvald and his Death Sorcerer buddy over here. We can put them in the main group. And let's get the Aspiring Champions behind some of these Marauders. And this other group of Marauders we can kind of just put out on the far wing. So basically, we just want to like have a very wide infantry line that just has so much stuff that the Empire player is really going to struggle. So I don't know, I wish these stupid hounds had Vanguard deployment. It's so annoying. I mean, the Beastman variant does, so you'd think they would. I mean, they're both Chaos Warhounds, right? But I suppose it's not the tactic of this particular faction here. So the mighty Prince Sigvald's here with his. I think he does have assless chaps. I'm not sure, but he's definitely a very, very good choice against the Empire. Like I ragged on him for the longest time. I was like, oh, Sigvald's terrible, but after getting like Archaon and Kolek like sniped horribly against like goon squads, I was like, okay, so this is the answer right here. This durable, self-regenerating, like it's pretty much the only thing on the Chaos roster aside from Trolls I think that can heal itself. So yeah, we got the Chaos Knights here. Really good combat stats. Like don't be deceived by their lack of armor piercing. These guys do some serious work against Demogryph Knights and like everything else. So that was definitely one of my noob tendencies early on, is if I didn't like see an armor piercing symbol on things when I was first casting, I was like, oh, I can't deal with armor. But definitely not the case, especially if you have like a Fate of Una with them. Like that can annihilate most Empire casts. So we got our Death Sorcerers ready to party. We got one in the infantry core. So if he's just gonna like fly above my head and harass me and just troll me, that's when you just start spamming double Spirit Leech on him. That's when you get down and dirty. So let's get our cav kind of following up here. We'll get these hounds doing. Do we want to do like a Mission Impossible? I think we can. So let's go up through here and run through the forest. Hopefully my opponent won't see me, but we should. I always like it when like both factions like advance and then you meet on the high ground right here. Man, that was a super straight line. Did you guys see? Oh no, it wasn't. For a second I was like, damn, that was a really straight line for my standards. Usually they're like terrible. We're getting up and over the hill. Looks like he does have some Demogryph Knights, and you know, I need to do testing because I've seen you guys say that the Demogryph Knights are. Oh yeah, he is a General of the Empire with potions, so we can start Spirit Leeching him if he gets a little ham bone on me. But hopefully these hounds. Oh, there's barely any space. Can we slip through here? Slip through the cracks. He has some nice open field though, and I'm going to be advancing down here, and it looks like he might try and troll me here a little bit and like start diving. A lot of people like to do that. They just like dive your, you know, Forsaken or other units on the wings, and it looks like the Blood Roar is getting in there, hitting their leadership. But he's just sitting over my head, which is fine. I'm going to wait for my full tank, because as you cast spells, your Winds of Magic goes down. So you want to like wait till it's like full in reserves. And basically, if they're flying over you with your Lord, you want to constantly be just sitting under them. I know it's a little bit annoying to like constantly be on top of that, but oh, I don't think he sees these guys. Yes, the secret traps are happening. If we can get into some of those handgunners, that's going to be so juicy. But he has a ton of greatswords and AP in the front line, so hopefully my dudes can, you know, are up to the challenge here. So great, we're going to advance right there. We're going to keep our Chaos Knights high and tight and just kind of mirror his movements. And these hounds, we can just start beelining it over here, because if he sends Demogryph Knights to deal with them, I'm totally fine with that. So taking a little bit of work right here, but you know what? It's not a problem. We're going to have Sigvald in the front line, so that's going to be pretty good. And we're going to get these Forsaken here. We get these guys kind of running over here as well. And where are his cav going? So let's actually go engage them right here. And I should use, I forget if Fate of Bune is better. I really wish I was better about that. But he's coming in pretty hot and heavy right here with the Demogryph Knights. Going to do a little bit of a charge. So we're going to pull these Forsaken back and then get the Chaos Warriors engaged, which, you know, aren't much better, but I think it's better for sure. So these guys are definitely going to have a hard time. So they're surrounded by Chaos Knights, all kinds of other fun stuff. And we're going to Spirit Leech his Lord. So let's get the fun times rolling. We're going to go ahead and pop that buff. We do have these hounds over here who are going to slip in the back, hopefully. And on the far side, it looks like the Forsaken, we definitely don't want to be wasting them here. We need to be like pushing these guys through. We don't want Forsaken fighting these troops. So these guys are going to go ahead and get on those handgunners on the far side, and it looks like we're able to win that battle pretty decisively. Let's get these guys collapsing here. We can just finish off these Empire Knights, who are pretty beat up, but I hate sitting on Empire Knights. I feel so wasteful. We do have another Spirit Leech, so let's go ahead and pop it on this General of the Empire up here, and we were able to kind of get up in the back line and get into some of these handgunners, which is going to be very good for us. So Sigvald is being focused, so we're going to pull him back through the front, and it looks like that Spirit Leech is starting to add up. So let's pop that Arcane Conduit and just kind of start to zerg on this back line. Come on, guys, what are you doing? Get back there. Come on now. Okay, great. So we don't want to be engaged on these spears. So we're going to get these Marauders engaged right here. We're going to pull these guys up and over like that, and then they should be able to get, you know, into that front line pretty effectively. So we do have some great swords coming around on the flank. We just need to force path these guys through. You see how the AI keeps like pulling them back? I hate that. But anyways, let's get in on this cannon. Now that we've like occupied his troops on the flank over there, we should be okay. So let's get this Death Sorcerer. He can come help out with these greatswords. We'll get the Mighty Prince Sigvald over here as well. And his demis like are, you know, online for the most part. But firstly, we're going to shut down these handgunners, and we can also pop a Fate of Bune on these guys right here. Can we click that? Although I think the Spirit Leech might have been more effective, but damn, I already clicked it, guys. I'm committing. I'm going deep. I'm going deep. So we do have another Spirit Leech. So where's his Lord? So his Lord is just kind of trolling about in the flanks, just chasing, you know, dealing with some of my troops, but I feel like his backline's pretty heavily compromised. The Demogryph Knights are engaged here, but now we can simply just switch onto them. And I think the Spirit Leech would be a better choice. Let's go ahead, and I think the Fate of Bune is almost up. So we're going to go ahead and cast the Spirit Leech on them. So by the time the Fate of Bune wears off, did the Spirit Leech go off there? Oh, did we just waste that? So I thought it would like start casting as soon as that other one wore off, but I guess not. So lesson learned, guys. That's, you know, hey, I'm not going to complain. I learned something. So let's get these Forsaken continuing to collapse on the flanks. I feel like everything's going pretty well. Balance of power is starting to tip very, very heavily in my favor. His Lord is a little bit isolated here in the back, and yeah, it's just complete chaos. So we were able to get around just overwhelming numbers. That's the name of the game with Empire vs. Chaos. Greatswords are able to get a good surround here on my caster, which is a little bit unfortunate, but you know what? He's going to be the sacrificial lamb here. So let's go ahead and use this Spirit Leech on this Jade Wizard. Just try and force him off the battlefield, because I do not want any more heals. That's like one of the things he could do to dig himself out of the trenches here. So good. So let's check for routing units. Definitely something I should have been doing sooner, but it looks like we do have some back, so let's go ahead and re-engage those guys. We'll get Prince Sigvald on this General, and it looks like everything else is honestly like collapsing for my opponent. So we do have some Chaos Knights here. We can like collapse on the back of these Greatswords. I think that would be a pretty good choice. Let's get these Hounds over here as well. And damn, that caster is still in it. That thing is just a trooper. So yeah, we get a good charge on these greatswords, and honestly their leadership, especially when getting poisoned here, is going to start like deteriorating pretty quickly. And let's get that Jade Wizard. I think he's going to be more of an important pick here. So we're just going to use some of these Marauders to go chase down some of these handgunners in the back line. Definitely do not want those guys coming back in action. And we can get these guys collapsing over here, and these Chaos Warriors, not necessarily a pursuit unit, so we want to get them re-engaged in the main fight. And it looks like we are able to get that Jade Wizard, so let's get these guys back. I think they were terror routed by this General of the Empire originally, but yeah, the build works pretty well. This is actually my go-to build for Chaos vs. Empire, so if you guys enjoyed this, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Definitely good old-fashioned cockfight. Does he have some unbreakable troops? I don't think he does. let's go ahead and take a look at the army compositions and see what worked and what didn't. So Empire Knights, I overcommitted. I actually thought they were like Reichsguard or something better. So if I had known those were Emperor Knights, I would have then sent my Chaos Knights around the other side and like tried to deal with the Demogryphs. But aside from that, it was a decent army. Great Swords, not a bad pick. I mean, they beat Forsaken and they beat Chaos Warriors for the most part. So although Chaos Warriors are great, Uplands I think trade really evenly with these guys, but I'd have to do some testing to find that out because they have higher melee attack and higher melee defense, the Chaos Warriors, but they don't have an anti-infantry bonus. So I'd have to see like how that really, you know, traded at the end there. I would have liked to have seen like silver bullets from him because the handgunners were predictable. I was able to like acknowledge them initially and kind of adapt my strategy around those. Maybe he doesn't have the Grim and the Grave DLC, I'm not sure, but I would have liked to see those guys. Empire Knights I might have opted out of. They don't really have a place against Chaos. I mean, they might be okay at like running down Forsaken, I guess, but man, I just hate Empire Knights. Their stats are so bad. I don't know, just my opinion though. Yeah, but the rest, other than that, you know, we were able to just really overwhelm the flank with Forsaken, and look how many more troops we had. I mean, his troop density was quite low. That's why like Flagellants and Sigmar Sons and a lot of those like filler units are good because they just hold up your front line for Empire and allow your guns to really thrive. Whereas in that, he was relying more on those like 3 Greatswords who did well, but against like a frontline lord like Sigvald who's going to be fighting in there, you know, he does well against those. But regardless, very well played to my opponent. Oh man, I'm not even going to try and say that. I would just mangle that name so incredibly hard. Like when I was young, I just couldn't grasp like Spanish. Like I was so terrible at it. Like I just couldn't. But very well played to my opponent. Look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that Chaos vs Empire game. Have an excellent night and take care.